Welcome back to another year of REVXP Presents. I'm Chris Mann, the SVP of Gaming at Revolution, and we are a global integrated sports marketing agency, and REVXP is focused on connecting brands to the gaming community, and we are thrilled to be back for another year to continue to share our insights and industry expertise with brand marketers looking to unlock the power of the gaming community. And we have a monster first episode. I am thrilled to be joined by my friend, longtime colleague, and also my origin story, my backstory here in joining Revolution many years ago, Mr. Chris DeAppolonio. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris. Happy to be here. Coming back. Good to see you.
Welcome back. Welcome back to you as well. You were part of one of our live episodes when we used to be crazy and do live episodes back in like 2021. So welcome back, and hopefully less stressful on recording it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Should be fun. So guys, Chris is the CEO of Evil Geniuses, or EG as they're known around the industry, one of the oldest esports teams out there and also one of the most successful global teams. He is responsible for building a team that won the Sports Business Journal's 2022 Esports Tech Innovation Award, which really included Chris spearheading bringing Moneyball, that famous baseball concept, to the world of esports, which actually paid off really well for you guys. Won a bunch of championships, right?
Yep. Yeah.
There you go.
Two different titles.
There you go. And also, Chris's claim to fame outside of being the CEO of one of the most successful and storied esports franchises is he played against and lost to Smash legend Mewtwo King at one of the first ever his appearances. So Chris is not only a well-respected executive within the industry, but also an esports pro.
Yeah, I use pro lightly, but yeah, I played, and I was more of like a tomato can for most of these big pros back in the early 2000s.
Hey man, at least you talk the talk, right? So Chris, outside of getting smashed in Smash early, what games are you playing right now?
I have been all over the board. I got back into Valorant and been playing a lot of ranked Valorant. I'm an Omen main, so loving that. I've been playing a lot of single player titles as well. So went through Dredge. I've just recently picked up Dead Cells, which I'm about 6 years late to the game on, and creating like an incredible Metroidvania game. Now I'm kind of like in between games and trying to decide which I sink my teeth into, whether it's Baldur's Gate 3, The Witcher 3, which I never played, or Tears of the Kingdom. So I have some like big hitters kind of waiting for me, but a lot of single player stuff right now.
A little late to the party on Tears of the Kingdom. Was never a huge Zelda fan. Like really hadn't played any Zelda games since like the original on NES. But I've been loving Tears of the Kingdom. It's very, very deep, very complex. Don't have enough time to do it. I know you have kids. I have young kids as well.
Yeah.
Like it's hard, man.
It is.
It's a fun game. It's a great game though. When we take those trips, the Switch is certainly comes in handy to play. So definitely, I recommend it, but also get ready to get sucked into it. So.
Yeah, that's like where that's why like my backlog keeps growing, because like there's these games that are like I know they're epic and incredible, but I don't have hundreds of hours to sink into them, and so it's like, do you even do it? It's kind of like one of those anxiety moments for me. Exactly.
Well, that's where Vampire Survivors comes in.
Yes. Yep.
That's if you haven't played Vampire Survivors, it's quick and it can last as long as you want it, and it is one of the most fun games. It's being such a basic pixel game. So you played it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's insane.
I got a Steam Deck over the holidays, and so that's been like a huge go-to to get gaming in.
Exactly. I got all these great games on my Steam Deck, like Elden Ring, and I only play Vampire Survivors. That's so funny. Anyway, let's jump into the convo, because I don't think probably not as many people care about what we're playing. Chris, tell us a little bit about EG and what makes your org unique versus other orgs in the industry.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it early on. So 2024 is actually a super special year for us. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary. So officially founded in 1999, which for an esports organization is like a million years ago, right? Like puts us on like the level of some of those professional sports teams that have been founded in the early 1900s when you think about that. And so we are getting back to our roots this year, really focusing on developing champions and lifting trophies and creating engaging content around our teams and players. We've had a bit of a reset as we go into this 25th year, but we are 100% focused on Valorant, which is a growing title across the esports space. America's viewership is up 18% year over year. Right now, I didn't look what happened this last week, and these newer events, the Masters Madrid and the kickoff, were breaking viewership records already. So excited to see where Valorant goes. And for us, like we kind of have these two pillars: the competitive side, where we're focused on Valorant, and then looking at new titles of how we can get involved, and then we have collegiate through the Genius League program. It's a program we've been running for the past few years, mostly focused on career development in esports, providing internships for students, and then career networking nights, mentorship opportunities, resume reviews, all within our collegiate Discord. And so we're working with some partner schools as well to support their events and to support some of their programming. I think for us, like being able to help create the next pros as well as the next business leaders within the esports space is extremely important for this industry. And an area that I wish I had as a student going through college, but an area that I think is still extremely undervalued for brands as well as for esports in general. So that Scholastic focus is a big one for us, as well as some other content that will look back at some of the championships we've won. We by our count, over 210 major trophies and championships we've won within our time. We're going to look back at some of the biggest ones like TI5, the Call of Duty Championship, the Counter-Strike, ESL One New York, some of the Evo wins in 2014. You name it, EG's been in it, from World of Warcraft to StarCraft to everything in between.
So sounds like 2024 is going to be a big year for EG. That's very exciting. Good for you guys, man. I mean, I think you speak to it like 99, like the longevity of, especially in this climate of esports teams, like the fact that you're still here, you're still doing well. Everyone's got to refine what they're doing in the space because the challenges that are out there, but you've obviously found those unique opportunities to really, make sure that org stands out versus like the saturation that is in this marketplace. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we hear, when we talk to teams as we represent clients. It's like, how do you differentiate yourself? Like, what is your lane? Like, what do you stand for? It's not just about winning. And obviously you and I talk all the time, the innovation, the tie to, mentorship and especially around the collegiate space is super cool and definitely an area of opportunity for you guys.
Yeah. So, and I think, along with our legacy, we also are really focused on trying to help make gaming more inclusive and more accessible. I think it's been a great push. We've seen Riot get into it with Game Changers, the ESL Impact Tour. Like, there's a lot more opportunities for women, marginalized genders, and others to get involved in esports. It still has a lot of work to be done, and I think accessibility as well is a big piece. It's not just the creating a safe environment, but also like it's not super easy to get into some of these games or even be able to have the equipment to play them. And so, we're working with Global Citizen this year to try to help with inequity in gaming and help combat global poverty. And so it's as much as we can to kind of make gaming a space that everyone can play in, no matter where you're from or who you are. Like, that's a big push for us, and will continue to be as we go through this 25th anniversary.
That's awesome. So, obviously you hit on some things that make your org unique. Are there ways that your brand partners are tapping into those unique opportunities with EG and, things that brand marketers should think about, as they partner with an org, such as EG?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of unique things. I think it depends on the partner and their objectives. But for instance, we work with a lot of partners on a B2B side. I think it's an area of esports that's fairly untouched when it comes to integrations. As you've seen in traditional sports, where B2B is a pretty significant arm of the partnership business, but the ability to have hospitality opportunities and do virtual meet and greets or playing sessions with our team for up and coming talent or recruitment for some of the brands and partners we've worked with has been a really interesting avenue that I haven't seen anyone else kind of tap into. But as a lot of esports fans are focused on the STEM audience, we have seen that for us, like, they want to tap into this. Some of our applications for our internship program on the data analytics side, see over 1,000 applicants, right? People with PhDs, people with many years of experience trying to get an internship in esports. And that's top level talent that, brands that are building tools and AI and machine learning want to get in front of. And so for us, that's been one big area. And then, like, as I mentioned on this collegiate side, we've been really allowing brands to get integrated with their brand ambassadors at the school level. So as we run watch parties, as we run in-person events, gaming sessions within these gaming clubs at big schools like UNC, University of Washington, UTA, University of Texas at Austin, right? Like, you have the ability to get in campus in like almost like a guerrilla way through this audience tied directly into their passion point, which,
awesome.
You're not going to be able to get to in a lot of other ways.
Well, the college space is really challenging to, there's so many players in the college space. And so the fact that you have this like inroads to so many top colleges, but doing it in a way that necessarily meet like competitive side, it's more about like the mentorship and the growth side. It's like really smart, like career growth. And, that's certainly a way to differentiate yourself. So that's awesome. And obviously a lot of things that, we're really focused on, right? Diversity and inclusion are really important. Especially, empowering women in gaming, things that we've talked about on this platform before. And I think really important to not only our clients, and we've done stuff for brands like Chipotle, but, just personally. And so I think that, as we look at opportunities in 2024, it doesn't always have to be around the competitive side. It can be about how, citizenship and how esports teams like Evil Geniuses can continue to, help tell great stories, but also empower the community as a whole, whether it be through diversity inclusion platforms, women in gaming, or, mentorship. And so kudos to you for putting those together, because I know those are real passion points for you. And also, and frankly, the innovation stuff that, you've done. I know that was, kind of like your start at EG was around innovation and as you got propelled up to CEO. So you guys are doing a lot of very cool things and a lot of opportunities for brands to think about out of the box partnerships, beyond just the status quo. And you hit on something really interesting too, because two of the two programs that I remember in my career, like one, when I was at Dig and running partnerships there, we did a B2B focused program with Susquehanna International Group, where we started an intern gaming league, all on Discord with their analysts. And the whole thing was like, hey, they partnered with the team because League of Legends was something that their young interns and analysts were really interested in. So for them to attract that talent, retain that talent, they were like, hey, let's partner with a League of Legends team. And then we created this league, and like the winning intern, it was like an intern beer league for League of Legends. And then the winning team got to play against like the Dig LCS team. And it was super entertaining. I mean, I've never seen so many kills in the League of Legends match before, but our guys had fun with it. And the interns, the analysts said it was like one of their best experiences. And so obviously they had affinity towards Susquehanna for that. And then something else that you hit on that I've been preaching for a while, and something that Revolution actually did last summer with one of our clients, AWS, around the Valorant Champions event in LA, was a hospitality event. League of Legends Worlds is a major sporting event. It's a major entertainment platform. So just as you and I have been at many Super Bowls from our old roles, there are opportunities to host executives at these like major events like League of Legends Worlds or Valorant Champions or something like Evo. And so there's experiences to be had there. There's eye-opening experiences for executives to understand the power of gaming. So those B2B events are really an untapped resource. And I'm excited that we were able to run one of the first ones, and it sounds like you guys are, on the cutting edge of that as well. So kudos to you for recognizing that.
When we look back at our sports background at Worlds, what was that, 23, I guess, when it was in San Francisco, we did a chalk talk with our GM and coaches. Yeah, very cool. With a whole bunch of with one of our partners and their customers and clients, and then we had a suite, and they watched them. They stood there, they stayed and watched all that whole best of 5, right? So most of them didn't even know anything about League of Legends, but they were enthralled. Their kids were there, right? And it was a really cool moment to see, a lot of these customers and clients of our partner be able to experience this, understand it, and figure out how are we working with our partner through this, and then how they can, potentially like look to expand their business there.
Absolutely. It's very cool. And I think it's very eye-opening. And the power of getting people to an event in person, especially brand marketers who aren't familiar with the space, is overwhelming, because then they're like that thing snaps and like, oh, they get it. Now we get
Yep.
it. We thought gamers were in their basement and all those cliches, and then they realize like the Balenciagas and the Jordans and the Prada and the fashion and the culture, and it all comes together in these events. And so, that's awesome to hear that you guys are working on that. Chris, last thing before we jump out of here, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, like running one of the most successful orgs, so I do appreciate your time. Innovation is core to what we do in gaming, obviously built on innovation. Obviously, you're very focused on innovation. What's got you excited for the future in the industry?
A couple things. First is what the next iteration of viewership looks like for esports. I think esports has been on the cutting edge of like personalized viewership for a long time. Sports and sports franchises and leagues have caught up now with how streaming can be involved. I think what will be the next iteration of how fans engage with broadcasts, and is there a place for AR and augmented reality in this space? I think is like something that I'm keeping my eyes on. Love to see what might be coming out, hopefully in the next few years, if some of these developers and platforms have new plans for that. I want to see how like the Unreal Engine and the Fortnite development continues. I think like that UGC aspect of gaming and brand integration is one that like is still barely tapped when you think about like the opportunities there and how incredible some of these developers are when it comes to building worlds and immersive experiences in gaming. And then finally, one that we were just talking about actually internally was AI in gaming, and not in the sense of like artificial intelligence creating games for you, but actually like implementing and augmenting this in your games such that it can make a more tailored and immersive experience. So I know we've both probably played World of Warcraft before, right? You're on an escort quest, and like if it was a machine learning model to understand like what your skills are, what kind of class you're playing, like maybe the person you're escorting actually acts as a tank as you heal, because that's what you're playing as. It's not a generic experience, right? Like it can actually like be more immersive. Even the AI against you could be like understanding your normal play style and maybe adapt to that, as well as like just the conversations you have in game like could be much more detailed and personalized to your experience. And I think like that could just add a whole nother level to these single and multiplayer experiences that we're already enjoying, but I think could be even more engaging.
Guys, thank you so much, Chris. It is a pleasure always to catch up with you, whether it be on Discord or some gaming sessions or on your second appearance on REVXP Presents. I'm going to have to do the SNL 5 Timers Club if we continue this for too long.
Yeah,
I wonder,
sure,
maybe a jacket or something, right? Yeah.
I would love that. This is awesome.
If we continue to do this for 5 years, that'll be funny. Anyway. Hey, it's adding value. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. We're excited to be back. As I mentioned on the top of the recording, we're back with Synopsis this year for their esports and gaming newsletter. So make sure you subscribe. We'll have Chris's information and EG's information in the description. As always, have fun, play some games, stay safe out there when you're world getting around the Azeroth. Don't run into Chris and his World of Warcraft guild. And until then, we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.